Hey everybody, this is Keith Gleason, host of Indie Comics Relay, creator of the Mighty Mascots, and promoter for the Plastic City Comic Con. And I'm here with another comic review. Before I get into that, just a quick reminder, Mighty Mascots number 10, triple size anniversary issue, still live on Indiegogo. It's going in demand, and I'll have a nice update soon on like some great prizes that we're going to be giving out to random members who back any kind of physical perk on the campaign. Just kind of like a last push before I start sending the book off to the printer, which I'm hoping will be in the next couple of weeks. So we're getting there. The finish line's in sight. So if you haven't backed it yet, click the link in the description of the video and check it out and get a copy. Also, Plastic City Comic-Con coming up August 23rd. Lots of guests signing up. Central Mass, $10 admission, free parking, kids 12 and under free, and a strong focus on comics. So definitely come by. It's a great convention, and it won't break your wallet. All right, on to this week's comic review. I am reviewing Minor Arcana number 1. This is put out by Boom Studios. It's written and illustrated by Jeff Lemire and lettered by Steve Wands. And this is a new ongoing series from Boom Studios and Jeff Lemire. As always, I don't like to spoil any of the comics, so I'm just going to go to the Boom Studios website and read you the description of number 1. From one of the most renowned creators in comics, New York Times bestselling and Eisner Award-winning writer and artist Jeff Lemire, along with the incomparable letterer Steve Wands, Minor Arcana is his first ever creator-owned ongoing series at Boom Studios, with an oversized opening chapter of the supernatural comic. Theresa, the prodigal daughter of a small-town psychic tarot reading fraud, begrudgingly returns home to care for her ailing mother after having left home for good, or so she thought. Arriving back in her childhood hometown, seemingly untouched by time, Theresa learns that there may be more to her mother's magic than she originally believed. And with that, she finds herself caught up in a town that desperately needs her help. Yeah, first I'm going to talk about the story a little bit. I'm not going to get into spoilers, but I did want to say that Jeff Lemire, one of my favorite comic creators, I think back, trying to think what I read by him first. It's been a while. I mean, I've read so much, I can't remember where it actually started. I know it was some of the Vertigo stuff, like Trillium maybe, and then maybe Sweet Tooth. But yeah, I've been a fan for a long time. I love all his creator-owned stuff. I even love his superhero stuff, which he's coming back to recently with DC. Like I'm reading his JSA right now, and Absolute Flash just dropped this week, so I might check that one out as well. But the thing that I really like about Jeff is I love when he writes and draws his own stuff. I love his art style. It's so different than anyone else out there in the mainstream. I mean, it's definitely comes from, it has like indie sensibilities about it, but that's what I love about it. It's always like got some life to it. The characters, their expressions, everything. You always know what's going on. And he always does like this nice watercolor wash to the art, which I really appreciate. And the thing with this Minor Arcana, that I noticed his colors are kind of popping off more than usual. There's certain locations are bright, and then other parts of it are dull, and it all gives a sense of mood and emotion to the characters and the storyline. And I do like the storyline on this. I this woman that clearly left home because she wasn't happy there, the small town thing, and it has to come back because her mother is having a hard time and she's sick, and she has to take over the fake family tarot reading business, but then she kind of discovers that it might not be so fake. It's one of those kind of storylines, but really good stuff. And I think Jeff Lemire, he often excels with these kind of stories where it's about a small town and characters that on one level they seem, like you got the character figured out, but then you read a few more issues and there's so many layers to this character and the way they act, why they are the way they are. And then most of the time they're changed throughout the story, which makes sense for any good story, so you get to see that arc. And I think Jeff is really good at that stuff. So that's why he's one of my favorite creators. The other thing that's interesting about this series, the artwork is by Jeff. So, the interiors are awesome, but it has different covers, like every book nowadays. One of the things I hate about comics is like every book has like 50 covers now, but I gotta admit the covers on the Minor Arcana, some of them are really nice. The one thing I liked is one of the covers, which Jeff Lemire is doing. So he's doing multiple covers. He does like the A cover and then he does like the C cover, but the C cover is a variant. And each of those covers is going to be one of the tarot cards. So it's considered like a special tarot card variant. And then by the time the series is over, you should have a full tarot deck of these covers, which is very cool, very forward thinking about, like a series like this. And the other thing that's interesting, so it's an ongoing series, but it's done in 4 major story arcs. And the reason he's doing it this way, it's mirroring a suit of tarot cards, I guess. And the 4 arcs are called the Book of Wands, the Book of Swords, the Book of Cups, and the Book of Pentacles. So I love that. I think it's really cool. And I think he just finished the first story arc. I'm reviewing this late, of course, but I think the first trade paperback is set to drop, or it might even be out right now. So, but yeah, I liked it a lot. I'm a big fan of Jeff Lemire, so I knew I would love this. The only thing weird about it is like when you see a new Jeff Lemire series, it just feels like if Vertigo was around, that's probably where this book would have gone, because that's what it feels like, a Vertigo book. But hey, anywhere that's going to put it out and let Jeff do the whole run, I'm there, so I feel like Boom Studios is a great home for this book. Some other notes I jotted down about this title is they were saying on the Boom site that this is a creator-owned book, first ever creator-owned book, which I don't know if that's true. I think they've had other creator-owned books and series at Boom, but maybe it is. Maybe there's some different way that they classify it or something. I also read an interview with Jeff Lemire where he talked about how, growing up in a small town, he often writes about that. Like it's in his being, like it's what he knows. So that's why a lot of his stories take place in small towns. And then they have like this either supernatural or weird element to them that kind of make them more than just a small town drama. You've seen it on like Royal City and, things like Fish Flies and Underwater Welder, things like that. And Essex County, of course, which speaking of that, I know there's a TV show that came out of that, which I don't believe has ever come to the US. I hope it does. I'd love to see that. I've read Essex County from Jeff Lemire. It was like one of his first creator-owned books way back when he was first starting out, and I love that. So I'm hoping the series, the TV series, comes over here at some point. I would love to see that. Let me see what else did I wrote. That the colors are amazing and they really add to the mood. And then Jeff talked about how this series is inspired by the early days of Vertigo, and I love that because I know exactly what he's talking about. Because like, if you grew up in the 90s when Vertigo first started, it was an imprint that was unlike anything else out there. Sandman, Shade the Changing Man, Swamp Thing. There were so many books that were kind of morphing into this more mature, and when you read it, kind of elevated comics. It was also around the time when Dark Knight Returns and all that kind of stuff was happening, and comics were Watchmen, all that stuff. And comics were changing and they were morphing into a little more of a serious kind of thing. And I was there for all of that. And so I knew exactly what he's talking about and like the mood he's kind of going for those like early Vertigo books. So yeah, overall, I liked it and I would recommend it to you guys. The first issue was price is $4.99, but I think each issue after might be $3.99. I can't remember. So it's, pretty standard price. The first issue is double size, so they kept it at a reasonable price for $4.99. And it's in color, of course, but it's beautiful, like wash, artwork with painted wash colors, like watercolor. It looks like they're in it for the long haul. I don't know how long the story arcs are going to be, but the first one was like 5 or 6 issues. So if it follows that suit, this series will probably be somewhere in the like 30 issues long, maybe 25 or something like that. But yeah, it's really good. Especially, I would recommend if you like Jeff Lemire, if you like indie comics with like a slice of life with a little bit of supernatural thrown in, I think you'll love Minor Arcana. It kind of looks at psychics and the frauds that they can be and other characters, and they're supposed to explore why Theresa originally left. So it's definitely drama done right. And if you like Jeff Lemire, I think you'll like this book. So, all right, that's my 2 cents on Minor Arcana. It gets the ICR stamp of approval. And I think you guys would like it, especially if you enjoy the work of Jeff Lemire. All right, everybody, that's it for this review. Like, subscribe, share this channel as always. Join us every other Monday night for our live streams. Me, Johnny, Harry. We interview some creators or sometimes multiple creators on the same night. It's a lot of fun. We have a good time doing it, and we get a lot of info and a lot of laughs. So check that out. And most importantly, everybody, read some comics. All right, have a great week, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.
Printed with Comics Wellspring. And yeah, this is printed with Comics Wellspring. Came out beautiful,
high quality stuff. People think it's fantastic. All the books that you see at my table are through Comics Wellspring.